into the Pigskin Pricks in this time of mass chaos among the world. We're going to talk a little bit of football. I'm joined by Joe and John. I myself am Evan. And before we get into the topics of football at hand, Joe, what beer are you drinking this evening?
My friend, I'll tell you what, I went to the fridge and I pulled out a Belgian ale called Delirium Red.
Delirium Red.
Yeah. Now, I've actually had Delirium, which is the original lager. And I'll tell you what, this is okay. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, we're probably sitting at about a 5. It's a little sweet for me.
5.
Yeah. Well,
that's low.
Well, and you know what? One can is $6. So when you factor in price and the sweetness, I just can't really go above a 5. It just kills me.
You know, I was expecting the Corona for the times that we're in.
Well, you know what? Listen, I'm a big supporter of Corona, so you know what? Maybe there will be one coming.
They're cheap now. The stocks have plummeted, so
it'll be
get your cheap Corona
in the coming weeks. You'll see.
Okay, that'll be our drink of choice. So,
John, did I see you lifting a beer?
You saw me lift a beer. Yes, you did.
What was it?
What is it?
I'm actually drinking a Sierra Nevada. 40th anniversary hoppy anniversary ale. So it's a special this year. I would say it's very, very tasty.
Delicious.
If I had to rate it, what would I rate this beer? I'm still actually sitting here shocked that he gave the Delirium a 5. But I've not had the red, so I really can't really give it a thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to give mine an 8. So I'm going to give.
Wow.
Yeah,
an 8.
It's pretty fucking good. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
So
can we so we can officially say you're in love with that beer?
That's a good one. That must be
because an 8, that's high. I mean, that's big time.
I really, really like it a lot. It's
all right.
It had a very warm reception with everyone in my household that's drank it. So.
Wow.
I think it's easily supportable to say it's an 8.
Well, you know what, John?
That's bold.
Listen, it is definitely worth it. It's definitely worth an 8 if it gives good head. So I mean, we'll just go. We'll just go.
All right, that's fair enough. Yeah. Well, and for everybody wondering, I'm drinking water.
Woo! All right.
What would you rate that water? How many out of 0 to
10 out of 10 for hydration.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta stay hydrated, man.
He's obviously the healthy one out of the bunch.
One of the best waters he's ever had.
One of the best, definitely. And
love it.
So what I want to start the show today with is we're going to talk about our boy, Phillip Rivers. Now, I know. 1 year, $25 million to go to the Indianapolis Colts to take over the starting job. Now, everybody is hailing this as a great signing. I have not read anywhere that has criticized the signing, and I will say it's not bad. Old guy, 1 year deal, not a bad quarterback, perennial choker, but not a bad quarterback. Now, taking over Jacoby Brissett's job, I will say, I think this may catapult the Colts as to division favorites. Maybe.
Finally somebody gets in there.
However,
on my side.
I would like to start with Joe.
Yeah.
You're talking Colts as division favorites.
Yeah.
What is so tell me what you think of the move, why you think that way.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a diehard Chiefs fan, I really like the move because it gets him out of the AFC West. Because you know what? I don't like the guy because he cries about everything. You got to give the guy credit. He can sling the ball, man. But here's my deal. My question is, why did they only give him a 1 year deal?
He's 38 years old.
I understand that, Ev. So are they going to draft somebody? Or are they saying, hey, Jacoby Brissett, you're behind this guy. Learn from him for a year, and then you'll take back over? Because all the mock drafts are not showing that they're going to pick up a quarterback.
So I disagree. I just was looking at that, and I think it just came out today. So they did the first 4 rounds, and they said in the 3rd round that they're going to draft. I don't even know who the fuck this guy is.
Okay,
Jacob
but that's my point.
Jacob Eason.
Out of Washington. Yeah. Okay. Right. And he's Tony Eason's kid, which you should be familiar with up in New England.
Yeah. I wasn't paying. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Not me.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know who he is.
No.
So I saw that. I didn't dig into who that guy was. But I'm like, third round. So to me, third round said not an immediate need.
No.
Right? Not an immediate need.
No.
And to me, that makes sense. I think you're getting Phillip because you want to continue to do well this upcoming year.
Yep.
Jacoby wasn't bad, but now you got two solid quarterbacks. A very seasoned guy that I think you'd go with Jacoby paying attention and hopefully learning from him. And why 1 year? Because you're thinking if he doesn't do great, we're not really tied into him very long, right. And we're going to go right to Jacoby, and we're signing some guy in the third round, so we have somebody that we're going to try to build if this just doesn't work out. We can always try to sign Phillip again the following year if it goes well for both parties. So to me, it's a stepping stone to the future, but not like starting over from scratch. Like we're
right, but is the future Jacoby Brissett?
I don't think so.
Are they going to draft?
It's not Phillip Rivers. It's not Phillip Rivers beyond maybe a couple of years, right?
Well, but why not sign him to a 2-year deal? I guess.
Well, I think with Phillip Rivers, you don't have to. Yeah, if he plays well enough to come back, they will have no problem re-signing him after this 1 year. But let's say Phillip Rivers completely shits the bed, like Phillip Rivers has done,
which we fully expect.
Then Jacoby will be playing throughout the season. At some point, he'll start.
I think this might mean the end of Jacoby Brissett in Indianapolis. $20 million guaranteed for a backup.
Does that mean there could be a reunion coming in New England?
I don't think so. Bill Belichick got rid of him for Philip Dorsett, so that tells you what he thinks of Jacoby Brissett.
Fair enough.
Without another backup quarterback, or they may have still had Garoppolo at this point, but they traded Garoppolo right after. They already knew they were getting rid of Garoppolo too.
Right.
So you trade Brissett for Philip Dorsett, who is, I believe, still unsigned, not even on a team right now.
Right.
You don't think too highly of him. I think we can get into potential Patriot options later, but I don't see Jacoby Brissett
got signed. Philip Dorsett got signed by the Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Okay.
And I actually was paying attention to Philip last year. Yep. I thought he was a good receiver. The times he didn't do much was when they were trying to play Antonio Brown, and so Philip really didn't get the field, and Antonio didn't do anything.
This was one of the worst, as a Patriots fan, this is one of the worst receiving cores we've had in recent years. By 100%.
And you know what? The guy we talked the other day, guys, about Tom Brady, and you guys say, well, he didn't have a good year. Well, you're absolutely right, but he didn't have weapons, and I think that's kind of the point I was trying to make is, look, the guy, and is his arm the same? No. Again, we could talk about Brady until the cows go home, man, because there's so much to talk about. But back to Phillip Rivers, I think, I like the guy. The guy, like I said, he's got an arm. He has weapons now in Indianapolis.
Could use another receiver.
He could, but the scary part is look at the defense that Indy's putting together. That's the scary part. They sign Armstead from, the 49ers to shore up the D-line. They bring in Xavier Rhodes, the D-back from Minnesota. I mean, listen, they're making some key acquisitions on the defensive side of the ball, which, as you know, if you're a football fan, is going to help out the offense tenfold.
Right.
Right. Do you agree with me or do you not agree with me, John?
I think defenses are always important.
Yeah.
To me, what's important about a defense, though, could be that you don't have to worry about having a great quarterback. So, yes, it helps. It helps take the pressure off that. You don't have to come like catch up because your team's getting its ass kicked all the time.
Exactly.
Well, that part I agree with, but a lot of teams that have a really good defense don't worry about having a really great quarterback. So,
do you think they're division favorites, though?
Do I think the Colts?
Indianapolis. Who can beat them? The Houston Texans and Bill O'Brien without DeAndre Hopkins and come on.
Well, no, you have to put Tennessee in there.
Yeah, that's
Tennessee.
What I was
I think it's Tennessee or it's the Colts, and I just think the Colts are going to have a better year than Tennessee. I just
they're a better team.
I think they have a better.
Yeah, they're a better team. They definitely have a better quarterback.
But they don't have a better running game, and I don't know about the defense either.
But they have a better passing game.
Yes.
Yep. And the defense
but
right now,
Tennessee
I would
could
say
stop
the
a team with
better.
that, right? Tennessee can just take their passing game away.
Yes, yeah, that's absolutely true.
Now,
I think it's tough. I think that's a tough pick.
With Phillip Rivers, though, do you think that, because I'm of the opinion, Phillip Rivers is never going to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
He's never going to win a Super Bowl. Does this move with the corresponding moves of the defense make them a legitimate Super Bowl contender? There's no more Tom Brady in the AFC.
Okay.
We have the Chiefs.
Okay.
Who obviously Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, go Chiefs. Yeah.
But I mean, outside of the Chiefs, I mean, you have the Titans. Who is there? What formidable opponent? You might see Phillip Rivers in the AFC Championship game. That's not unthinkable.
What do you mean, Baltimore? Come on.
Yeah, of course.
Baltimore.
Of course, yeah.
The old Colts.
You see,
Baltimore Colts.
Baltimore choked so bad in the playoffs that I just completely disregarded them as an idea.
Yeah. I'd say they're going back to the Super Bowl. Be back. They're going back to the playoffs, and I think they'd learn from that game last year if they can do anything about it. I mean, they played a team that beat some good teams. Tennessee clearly was scary in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
Simple as that. So, I think that's not changed a whole lot. I haven't seen a lot that tells me that Tennessee's going to be a lot worse. So it's up to those other teams to do something different so they can be better.
Evan, I'll tell you what, you'd mentioned you threw out the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
So, man, they're just a plethora of mess. I mean, these guys, they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Bill O'Brien, I personally, I think he's on the hot seat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think he's going to be gone. Like you don't trade away a 4-time Pro Bowl receiver and not be on the hot seat.
I agree.
Right? I'm not even sure how he was able to do that, other than he's also the GM. And then you bring in David Johnson. Are you shitting me? My dad has a donkey that runs faster than this guy. I mean, you traded him for DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you're losing your freaking mind. And then I don't know if you read
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, these trade rumors. I don't think he wants Deshaun Watson there either. So I don't think Bill O'Brien's going to be their head coach for long. So really, I think Houston is going the other way. I don't. They used to be a powerhouse in the division. I think now they're moving the other way, which leaves it to the Colts and the Titans. I think the Colts have a bit better defense. We obviously know that Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. I don't get his contract, $118 million, but whatever. That's for another conversation. But here's a question I have for you. So Phillip Rivers bolts San Diego.
Yes.
Which leaves Mr.
Tyrod Taylor,
as the starter. All right. What's going to happen with San Diego? Are they completely reliant upon the draft?
I think this year they are a 5-11 team. They are no good. They are garbage.
Garbage.
Tyrod Taylor is not a bad quarterback by any means. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's a good game manager. He won some games in Cleveland, from what I remember, when he used in Buffalo.
Yep.
He almost took Buffalo to the playoffs. He may have taken them to the playoffs. But he is not going to win you the game, per se.
Right.
And what they were so bad last year, the Chargers, with Phillip Rivers.
Now,
they don't no offensive line. Yeah. You have Keenan Allen, who's a good receiver.
Right.
You have a couple weapons.
Yeah.
They just, without Phillip Rivers, they feel like a team that is searching for a franchise quarterback.
Right.
Which the draft comes in. Do they trade up for Tua? Do they draft Hebert? I think there are some options, but regardless of who they take, in the first round, if they take a quarterback, I don't see them winning this year.
Right.
I just don't see it happening. So 5-11, 6-10 at best.
Well, John, let me ask you this, John. I got a question for you. Okay, so last year they took Easton Stick. Okay, this guy's out of North Dakota State, right? He's behind Tyrod Taylor. They took him in the 5th round. All right. My question is, why did they do that? If you know you're going to get rid of Phillip Rivers and you know you're going to draft a quarterback in the 1st round, did they draft this guy as a career backup?
I think anytime you're in a draft situation, you see somebody that looks like they're a decent potential value at a higher draft round you pick the guy because you never know what's going to happen.
Okay.
You got Tom Brady's. You got Kurt Warner, Trent Green. Yeah. I mean, they didn't guys that don't even get drafted at times that end up being studs. So you just got to throw something out there. And I don't think they knew they were getting rid of Phillip Rivers last year when they did the draft.
They were expected to be good. They had just come off an AFC championship.
Right. And they weren't they lost game. So many games by close games last year. I mean, I wouldn't say the Chargers just got manhandled all season. They just too many turnovers by fucking Phillip.
Well, listen.
Melvin didn't help him in the beginning of the season. Sorry, go ahead.
Derwin James goes down. Their number one defensive player. That kills your back end. Right. It kills your back end when you're playing the likes of Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do now? That's your guy. Now you got Tyreek, you got Sammy, you got Travis, you got all these guys running without that guy in the middle, because he did come back and play towards the end of the year, and he was just a force. So I think that injuries really hurt San Diego. But doesn't it seem like San Diego has injuries every year? Every year, some mainstay gets hurt. And it doesn't have to be for the whole season, but it could be 4 games here. It could be 5 games there.
You could argue that for every team, though.
You could, but it seems to me like every year it's San Diego. Like, not every year it's the Chiefs. Not every year it's the Patriots.
We have called them San Diego the entire show.
Yeah. You know what? Everyone listening, I'm so sorry. I've been a Chiefs fan my whole life, and they have been the San Diego Chargers.
They should be the San Diego Chargers.
They should be the San Diego Chargers.
They really should. Playing at
they
Jack
are
Murphy
the Los
Stadium.
Angeles Chargers. They were the Los Angeles Chargers here last year, but I'm with you.
That just clicked in my head that we've been calling them by the wrong
name. So we're going to go back and we're going to record, and you're just going to hear the Leap Chargers and just go with that.
I love
They're
it.
No longer of San Diego. But did I cut you off from finishing your point, Jeff?
No.
No, but anyway, I think so. Let's go back to real quick. Tyrod, are they going to draft? So again, same mock that 4-rounder I saw said Jordan Love in the first round. So, and then some other folks are talking about could they potentially pick? Well, not only that, but could they potentially pick up either Cam or Jameis or somebody like that?
I don't see them doing that. I think they're going to get it.
Right. I don't think anybody's really talking strongly about Jameis, but there definitely has been talk about San Diego potentially going with Cam because Tyrod's so bad.
Well, but
he's not though. He's not that bad.
Who's better, Tyrod or Cam?
Cam, I would say. But however, if you're drafting a quarterback in the first round, Tyrod Taylor is making. I think he's making like what, $5 or $6 million. So it's not a ton.
2 years, 11 million.
$11 million.
You're paying
$6 million guaranteed.
You're not going to. Now the question is, can you cut him without a penalty? I mean, if you're going to be paying him $5 or $6 million anyways, you don't just to be a backup to a rookie. Like he's a formidable backup. He's a formidable quarterback. I don't think they're looking for what truly is the difference between Cam and Tyrod Taylor. Is Cam Newton going to come in and win them a Super Bowl?
All right, but hold on.
I think he might win more games if he stays healthy.
Yeah, but
does that make them a contender?
They still got to sell tickets.
No, because they're playing in the AFC West. And I'm sorry, I am a Chiefs fan, but the Chiefs own it right now. Patrick Mahomes,
you got so many other games. So that's 2 games they're going to lose this season.
That's absolutely true. Right.
That's not the end of your season.
Right,
but the Raiders will be better.
Oh, the Raiders
are looking good.
There's no doubt. Denver will be better. If Mr. I've been dead for 6 years Fangio could get his head out of his ass. But, I mean, he's going to build a great defense there. I mean, he's, But I'll say this as far as Cam goes. If they bring in Cam, right? So now you've got Cam, right? You've got Tyrod. I think they're going after Herbert. Maybe Tua. I just don't. I hope.
I think Herbert. I think Herbert.
But I think Herbert out of Oregon is who they're going to go. That's who they've been talking about this whole time. Now there is talk, John. You're right. There's some different mocks that are saying they're going to trade up to get Tua, but I really think they're going to go after Justin Herbert out of Oregon, right? Okay, so now there's 3. So now the stick kid, do they send him to the practice squad?
Sure. How much do they spend on him?
If he's good enough, someone else will take him.
Right.
No,
$500,000
or something. I mean, right. I think he's making.
And everybody's saying Cam's going to come in because he's officially no longer part of the Panthers. Now he's official, so nobody has to pick up his old contract.
Correct.
Now they're just making a deal with him, right? So there's talk that he's going to come in pretty cheap in reality because.
Oh, whoa! Stop right there. First of all, he's a diva, John. He's a cancer in a locker room.
He gets a 1-year proven deal.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a job, so he's going to come as a deal.
But he still has that. He was MVP of the league 4 years ago.
I know.
I mean, 4 years removed. So, yes, he's got that. It's just in his head that he's an all-star. And I don't know that he's going to take some bullshit contract, like you said, Evan, a prove-it deal, just to prove he's going to think, I don't have to prove myself.
Well, if that's all he gets offered.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. He didn't get traded. Nobody traded for him. He didn't get a trade.
But John, my question is, why he's been in free agency for a while now. Why hasn't anybody signed this guy?
Because they needed him to be released. Because they
I understand that, but that didn't just happen.
So now I think it did today or yesterday. It just happened. Officially.
It was 2 or 3 days ago. Cam Newton got released. It was on Tuesday.
Well, here's what they're saying. Here's why he's not been signed. Because nobody can do have him checked right by doctor because of the fucking coronavirus. So
correct.
Until they can have their doctors do a physical evaluation, nobody's going to sign him. That's what they're saying.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so he's just going to sit and fucking bubble and boil and not have a job. And I think by the time he can get a job, he's going to be pretty desperate. I mean, he's still going to be able to negotiate some because the other options of free agents aren't great either. But there's Jameis, who's not horrible, younger, healthier.
No. Well, they know that Cam will not be a backup. He will refuse to do that.
Right, and if he went to San Diego, that's probably the best fit of not being a backup.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
Okay. All right,
New England Patriots.
No, I think that's a great option as well. I'm just saying that San Diego could pick him up and start him.
But San Diego, but the thing is,
Los Angeles.
Would Cam Newton choose between the Patriots with Jared Stidham as the future competition,
but
or going up against a first-round pick in Justin Herbert, regardless of how good Jared Stidham is.
Okay, now stop for just a second. And I totally get what you're saying, and I don't want to argue that where your conversation's going. But what I'm going to ask you to do is stop trying to go to the next step and just stay with not San Diego, but Los Angeles.
Well, Chargers for
just a little bit longer.
He's not going to the Chargers.
No, you're saying it the wrong way. What I'm asking is, would the Chargers pick him up? Not will he go?
John, of course he's saying it the wrong way. We're pricks.
I don't think
he is being a big prick.
I don't think he would pick. I don't think Los Angeles would pick him up. I don't think they're going to pick him up.
Okay,
I don't think they're going to consider it.
And it has nothing to do with whether or not he'd rather go to the Patriots.
I agree with you.
Nothing to do with
fine.
So, I think the Patriots have a better shot.
We're going to close it out with the Chargers are going to stick with Tyrod, probably draft a quarterback, and have this other guy as a third quarterback.
Easton Stick, yep, for sure.
Right, and to me that means that you're drafting somebody that you're hoping is going to take over for Tyrod pretty soon in the next year or two.
Most likely,
probably next year, if not.
This is the last. Deal. Yeah, no. Well, this is the last year on Tyrod's contract.
He's got a 2-year deal.
Second year of his
deal. But this is his second year, so this is his last year on his contract. Yeah.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Let's transition into.
So you were going. Go ahead and go. Yeah.
Let's transition into the guy who is replacing Mr. Cam Newton.
Okay.
And that is our good old friend Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy.
3 years, $63 million, $33 million.
See here, I thought you were going to go back to the Patriots and see which one of these other guys are going to grab. But go ahead. Let's talk about Teddy.
Let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater. The Patriots are not on the radar too much today. We already talked about them a little bit last. So
and trust me, guys, we'll bring them back at some point.
They will probably find their way into this discussion if we talk about
any chance we get to kick the Patriots in the nuts, we will do it. I promise
you. Me, I'll stick up for them.
So back to Teddy.
Of course you will. They're your team.
Back to Teddy.
Back to Teddy. And this one we're not going to get wrong. The Carolina Panthers.
No.
5-0 as the Saints starter over his career. 5-0 and looked lights out. Like he is a starting caliber quarterback. There was 100%. No doubt about it.
Playing for a very good team.
Yes.
No doubt about it that he was going to get starter money, find a permanent job.
Yes.
Now, I'm not 100% sold on the Carolina Panthers succeeding this year, even if they have Teddy Bridgewater. I'm a little concerned. The new coach, transitioning from college to the pros. I don't know. I like some of the talent they have on that roster, but part of me feels like they need to add a little bit more to their defense. They need to add maybe a couple more weapons on offense and receiver. So I'm not sold this year on the Panthers. That doesn't mean I don't like the signing. So let's start with John this time. What's your expectations for Teddy Bridgewater? What are you thinking about this signing?
So interestingly enough, I actually liked Teddy when he played for Minnesota. Because I'm a Vikings fan. I was born in Minnesota, so I've always liked the Vikes. I was bummed when he got hurt and ultimately got let go. I thought that was a waste of a good opportunity, especially after so many quarterbacks in Minnesota that just weren't doing shit. But I preface this by saying I like Teddy. I actually like how he played for the Saints. I'm actually a big Drew Brees fan for kind of a similar thing in that he got a major injury. A team gave up on him. He went somewhere else and was successful. And so Teddy has that same kind of opportunity here. And I think, I want to root for him. I think, and it's weird, I live closer to the Carolina Panthers than I do the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. And neither one are my home team. I like the Chiefs, and I like the Vikings because of where I was born and where I've lived. But I still get to see them on TV, kind of root for them against other teams that aren't closer by, if it's just happening. So they did sign, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. They signed a receiver. That's a pretty big guy.
Robbie Anderson from
Thank you, Robbie Anderson.
That's
so
right.
They did get somebody out there that it's going to help. It's going to help, right?
Guy's got 6 speed. Yeah.
Right. And the Panthers have always, every year, seem to have the potential to do pretty well. Sometimes they end up doing well. Sometimes they don't. So I don't see a big change, to be honest. I don't think with what's going on in Carolina, they're going to be a very similar team with Kyle Allen or Teddy. Teddy's a little more experienced, probably a little more comfortable in the role because he's been there. He's played for a big team in big games. But I don't the weapons around him and his talent alone just isn't enough to make a big difference.
Hey, Fuzznuts.
Yeah.
What's your hard on with Kyle Allen? I mean,
I don't have a hard on for him.
You're in love with this guy.
No.
He's not even a Carolina Panther.
My point is, he's not good enough to make a huge difference. That's my point.
No, he's horrible. That's why they traded his ass. Get him
Teddy
out of here.
Bridgewater is a massive upgrade over Kyle Allen.
Oh, massive. It's not even close.
In my opinion.
It's not even close. Not even
so,
close.
And the cool thing about this is we'll get to see throughout the season. And again, I preface with that, I'm a fan of Teddy Bridgewater. I just don't think Kyle Allen's as bad as you guys think. I think it's part of the team.
I don't think he's bad.
Was the team around him?
Whoa.
And he might not be a backup, but let's finish with Teddy. Okay. So, I mean, you guys absolutely jump in, but Teddy's just not going to win him a Super Bowl either. He's better. The thing is, the team clearly believes in him because he's got a 3-year contract. They don't have any projections for Carolina in picking up a quarterback in the first 4 rounds. So they're not looking for another quarterback.
John, I just read an article that came out that suggests that they're going to tank the season so next year they can grab Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson.
That's a great move.
So that's an article that I read. Okay?
Carolina?
Now, yes. Now I don't know if this is true, but it certainly
sounds like speculation to me.
It's speculation.
It makes it interesting.
But here's the deal I have with that. So Teddy Bridgewater's a winner. I don't care if they say, "Hey, we're tanking." He's not going to tank it. He's going to go out there and he's going to try to win games. Now, here's my problem. I just want to throw this out with Kyle Allen, okay? Because last year, right, he played in 12 games. He won 5 out of his first 6 games, right? In every one of those games, Christian McCaffrey had over 100 yards rushing. He lost his last 6. Christian McCaffrey had under 100 yards in all of those games. My point here, John, is that people said, wait a minute, it's not Kyle Allen beating us. It's Christian McCaffrey. Let's stuff that fucking box and make this little son of a bitch beat us. And you know what? He couldn't. He shit the bed. And it's as simple as that. Carolina signed him to a 1-year deal and then traded his ass away. Now, I will say this. He went to the Redskins, where could he start? Dwayne Haskins is better. The only chance for him to start is that there's a coronavirus right now. And he knows Scott Turner's offense, who was a quarterback's coach in Carolina, is now the OC. So Kyle Allen knows their offense.
Right.
Well, if they don't get a whole lot of practice time, yes, I believe that Kyle Allen could start in Washington. Here's another problem with Kyle Allen in Carolina. Those 12 games that he started, sacked 43 times. Are you shitting me? That's over 4 sacks a game. That son of a bitch was trying to throw looking at the stars. I just don't.
So you're saying that's Kyle's fault that he was on his back?
No, I think they have a shitty.
That's why he was so
line.
shitty. No, but you're banging on Kyle so bad, like he's a terrible quarterback.
He is.
If you just supported him in saying that, well, it's really hard to be successful if you're on the ground.
It's a mixed bag.
If he wants to be supported, go find a closet and suck your thumb. This is the fucking NFL. I mean, no, I don't need that. Go out and play, and you'll either win or you'll lose. Teddy Bridgewater didn't always have the best offensive line.
Who had more interceptions last year? Phillip, your favorite quarterback, Rivers, or Kyle Allen?
Phillip Rivers played more games.
He played more games. That's unfair.
Okay.
He averaged
touchdown to interception ratio.
Well, he averaged less.
To be fair, Kyle Allen did not throw a ton of interceptions, especially those first 6 games. So I'm assuming
he threw 16. He threw 17 touchdowns.
The first.
No, total out of the 12 games.
Yeah,
he threw 16
the last 6 games.
Yes,
he looked good the first 5 games. I'll give him that.
You know, he didn't look bad, but again, he really leaned heavily on Christian McCaffrey. That's exactly right.
Well,
and that's what I wanted to find out.
What I think is, I don't think Kyle Allen sees the field this year. Like, we're talking, assuming we have
it depends on the virus.
Assuming we have normal practice time, we have normal circumstances.
Yeah, he doesn't beat Haskins.
He not only does he not beat Haskins, I think they bring in somebody else too.
You think Colt McCoy is going to beat him out for the second spot?
Do you think they're going to go into the season with Haskins and Kyle Allen as the 1 and 2?
I hope not.
That is a recipe for 3 wins.
Yeah,
like maybe. That is 0-16 Detroit Lions type of quarterbacks right there. Haskins, I'm sorry, Haskins is above. Haskins is
John, you look so depressed. Do I need to
No. I'm doing some fact checking. I got to do some fact checking. Sorry.
Haskins is above.
Forgive me.
Haskins is no good. And Kyle Allen, regardless of whether he's good or not, do you think the situation the situation he has in Washington is going to be any better than the situation in Carolina?
As a matter of fact, actually, I think it's going to be worse. But here's my thing. You're right. In the 5 games that he won, the first 5 out of 6, there was a game, there might have even been 2, where he had 4 touchdowns to no interceptions in that game. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, where did this guy come from? But then you look at the yards that McCaffrey had. Yeah, he had 89 receiving yards with a touchdown, and he had, right? And I think what happened is their offensive line was so fucking shitty that he just dumped it off to Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey went and did his thing, because that's what he does, right? So, yes, did he play better in the first 6 games than he did the last 6? 100%. But I think it had everything to do, if you look at Christian McCaffrey's production, it went way down, and that screwed him. And not having a good offensive line, what are you going to do? Right. What are you going to do?
Right. So just because I got to give you the shit about the numbers real quick before we run on this call. So Phillip had 23 touchdowns, 20 interceptions.
Okay.
Quarterback rating 88.5.
Okay.
Kyle Allen had 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. So the ratio is actually a little worse. 80 QB rating. Kyle Allen's a new young guy. Phillip's been around forever. Phillip's costing you how much a year? How much is I'm going to pull it up.
Whatever he was making. Yeah,
right. Phillip's costing you. He's going to cost you $25 million.
Right.
Same as Brady or Breeze.
Right.
$25 million. Kyle Allen's going to cost you this year $585,000.
Right,
so
John.
If I were a team and was spending money, I'd be like, this guy wasn't much worse than Phillip Rivers, and you're talking. And Phillip had a better team.
Right, but my point.
And I'm going to spend $20 $24.5 million more.
John, but the point is,
what?
Neither of them was going to win you the fucking Super Bowl.
Agreed.
Neither of them. That's why do you think Phillips got dumped just like Kyle Allen did? It didn't matter that he was
sells
making
tickets.
And that's exactly right.
Absolutely.
He puts asses in the seat. You're right.
Yep.
Good point.
Yeah, what I think is always interesting, though, is like an investment and how long does that investment hold true? And I think Phillips interesting. We talk a lot about him, but he wasn't really that much better than Kyle Allen. That's my point. But
he was better.
He was better. Yeah, he's been in the league how long? He's had how much experience?
But John, he's just a better quarterback.
He came out of college as a better quarterback.
Of course,
who the fuck was Kyle Allen? I don't remember what college he played for. I don't think he got drafted. Somebody,
I only know that because I lost money on the son of a bitch. It's probably why I don't like him.
Okay, let's move the hell on.
All right.
Unless you got any closing arguments on Kyle Allen or Teddy Bridgewater.
He sucks, right? I'm just close.
I'm totally cool with that. I'm just thinking that my last statement is Teddy Bridgewater or Kyle Allen. Carolina Panthers weren't going to make a big difference this coming year.
I'll agree.
No, I
would save my money. Even with Teddy, you're paying him, $21 million a year. I'd have saved my $20 million and stuck with Kyle Allen.
Yeah. But again, Teddy's going to put asses in the seats. Kyle Allen is not.
Let's hope. So, as long as he doesn't get hurt.
Well, yeah, listen, you're going to hype Teddy Bridgewater. What'd you say? 5-0 with the Saints last year?
Yes, sir.
That automatically is going to put
until he starts losing because their team is so bad, and they're like, "It's all Teddy. It's all Teddy. He sucks."
Maybe.
Why'd you sign a $21 million a year quarterback?
In which case, they draft Trevor Lawrence. There it is. I mean, if he does,
and he'll come out too early, like they love to do with young quarterbacks, and he'll struggle.
And then he'll struggle. Yeah.
Oh, please, he's not going to struggle.
I hope not. I don't think so. The guy's.
He's a stud.
He's a shit. Yep.
So we just finished talking about Kyle Allen, and now I believe we want to jump over to a couple free agents that haven't signed that are official free agents, which is Cam Newton and Jameis Winston. We've already kind of talked a little bit about both those guys and maybe going to San Diego, LA, the LA Chargers. I can't help it, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like Joe, we've been trained to say San Diego, even though they were there. Even last year in fantasy football, when I'd see LAR and LAC, I'm like, who the fuck is LAC?
right. I know who the Rams are, but
the Lakers? That's a weird spelling. I had to remind me. So I apologize. But so you guys are basically saying those guys aren't going to the Chargers. So
I don't think so.
Either one of you. All right, you spoke first, Evan.
So I'm going to say,
go ahead.
I'm going to start with Cam Newton.
Okay.
And I think it is a foregone conclusion. Cam Newton is going to go to the New England Patriots.
You're horseshit.
No, listen here.
I think everybody's saying that, so I'm not surprised by what you're saying. Now, why do you think that?
Being a New England Patriots fan, what I've known from Belichick over the years, why is Belichick every year? Now, you can make the argument for Tom Brady, but why does he always pick up these players that nobody wants to touch, and all of a sudden they turn to gold?
But couldn't Jameis Winston be that guy too?
Yes, but I don't think he's going to touch Jameis Winston because he threw 30 interceptions. And
he got LASIK.
Despite the fact that he fixed his vision, I still think we're talking about a former MVP in Cam Newton.
4 years ago.
Now, what do MVP skills just diminish by the time you hit 30 or 31 years old? No, I don't think so.
Unless your injuries have caused you to diminish.
Now, that's a good point. But if Cam is healthy, and if he is able to return anywhere close to MVP form, how is it not the perfect Bill Belichick project? You take on a diva, you show him the Patriot way, and he wins you ball games.
But will he bow to Bill Belichick?
Yes, because he wants to.
He will have to.
If he doesn't, his career is over.
Yeah, I think if he wants to redeem himself and win a fucking Super Bowl, that's the place to go.
It's the only option.
If he thinks he can redeem himself and he wants to try to win a Super Bowl, what better team to go to than New England Patriots?
I think it instantly puts them back as AFC East favorites.
He's a starter for sure.
He's a starter, and he's skilled.
Guys.
He's skilled.
Let me throw this question out, and this is to both of you. I don't really care who goes first. If Cam Newton then goes to the Patriots, is there any starting job left for Jameis Winston? Or is he a backup?
He's a backup. Can you name any team that he would start on first?
Let's flip that.
Other than the Chargers,
if Cam fucked up the Patriots job for whatever reason, let's say Cam doesn't go to the Patriots, do they pick up Jameis, and then now does he have a starting job?
That's Stidham's job.
Okay.
Jarrett Stidham is the backup. The only possibility.
I kind of think that too. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what it is.
You don't think Jameis could get turned around?
Actually, I was going to say
Belichick in New England.
I do. Actually,
I think he could, but I think they would take Cam Newton before they would take.
No,
Jameis
I'm saying
Winston.
Cam fucked that up for whatever reason.
Right.
Again, we're hypothetical here.
Cam,
for some reason, screws that up, says the wrong thing, just won't stop being a diva, and they pass on him.
Yep.
Cam just drops the ball.
You're talking this offseason.
Yes.
He doesn't play a game for the Patriots.
Just pretend with me that he fucks up the opportunity and they don't sign him because he just
and so
he's
Bill
too much like Antonio Brown, and they're like, we're not gonna do this again. We've learned our lesson. And they go, okay, we're gonna pull the trigger on Jameis.
I've been reading that the Patriots have no interest in Jameis. Everybody who seems to be reporting on it is saying that.
And why? Just because they're sure they're gonna get Cam?
No, I think it doesn't have to do with Cam Newton. They just don't want anything to do with Jameis Winston.
Okay, that's
fine. He doesn't seem like a fit.
I got to throw to Sean. I got to throw to Sean Watson.
Well, yes, I think that's another.
That's a rumor going on. What's going on with that? Do you think that's a possibility? Because that's a scary son of a bitch right there. I don't care if you're a fan of an AFC team. You do not want to see Deshaun Watson go to fucking New England.
I agree, and I don't think Bill O'Brien would ever trade him. Well, that's the thing. Well,
I didn't think he would trade DeAndre.
He's already on the hot seat, Bill O'Brien. If he trades Deshaun Watson, they're not going to have anybody in the stands.
I know.
So
I know.
They'll get Cam. Come on, they'll get Cam.
They'll get Cam.
Or Cam.
What's going to happen is if Deshaun Watson, if there's any possibility of him coming to New England, I don't personally think it'll happen. Personally, he would have to sign as a free agent the next offseason, but he's going to be commanding $35-40 million a year.
Absolutely.
Is Bill Belichick ever going to spend $35-40 million a year on a quarterback?
He didn't even spend that on Brady.
He didn't even spend it on Brady. Like you said,
all Brady's stuff was front loaded, and then he had a base salary cap hit.
Exactly. So I don't see Deshaun Watson ending up as a New England Patriot.
Well, even this year, they got a problem, and they're still paying some of Brady's money this year.
Yeah.
So one of the things they're talking about with Patriots is they don't really have a lot of money for a quarterback.
Right.
Which is why, to me, the Cam Newton or Jameis Winston option looks pretty good because you're supposedly going to get one of those guys pretty cheap.
Okay, John, well, let me ask you this. Let's say Bill calls Cam and says, hey, I want you to come play for us. What's that contract look like to you?
That's a great question.
I mean, what's it look like?
1 year.
I don't think it's I don't think it's $25 million. I don't think it's Brady money. I don't think it's close to Brady money.
15 mil.
Yeah, I was going to say 10 to 15.
Okay, and it's only on a 1 year deal
with incentives.
I could see him get a 2 year deal if it went right. I could see in New England of any place, I could see him get a nice 2 year deal. If it's done right.
Second year not guaranteed.
Right. Yeah, because
I could see that.
Well, and I could see actually New England trying to lock him in a little longer of any team because their options right now aren't very good.
You know what though? At 30 years old, I don't know if you would give him anything too long.
They went all the way to 40. What 3?
Right,
years?
but Brady gave him 6 rings. Yeah. I'm not sure that Cam's going to give him a ring.
Jeez, you're just a Cam.
I just can't say it. Well, he is a John. Listen, this guy's
but he's talented.
I'll give you that. He won MVP. You don't win the MVP of the league without talent.
Right.
You just don't do it. It's not possible. So yes, he's talented. Does he still have the same talent that he had when he won MVP?
Yeah, well, 10-15 mil isn't ridiculous money.
But
no, not at all.
We have to think about what does Carolina – we talked about Carolina. Carolina has sucked. To be fair to Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So, and he's injured. I mean,
yes.
So not last year, but the year before, towards the second half of the season in general, I remember watching, he just couldn't throw a pass. Then he gets to the end of the season, basically has a hurt shoulder. I mean, and I'm like, he's had a hurt shoulder all season. They didn't say anything because he threw like shit. Right. Yeah. And then he hurts his foot or whatever this last year, and he just didn't play.
And we're talking about the same offensive line that sacked let Kyle Allen get sacked how many times?
40-some times.
43 times.
Well, Cam probably moved around a little bit better when he was healthy.
That can only save
and maybe
you so
harder
much,
to tackle, but it didn't last. No, so I don't disagree. Cam could be good if he's healthy. That's the number one thing. So that could be the other thing that we're talking about here too, right? With the Patriots could be Cam ended up isn't really healthy, and the Patriots have to pass on him, and then they're looking at Jameis again, or do they just draft a quarterback? Because they are projected in some cases to pick somebody up in the third round.
I was going to say second, third. They like Jake Fromm a lot. They like Jake Fromm.
They like him a lot, yeah. The kid can play.
So they could just skip it and say, fuck it, we're going to go with the money we've already spent.
And I think
on the guys we already have and draft a guy.
Right, because then we only have to.
Which is going to cost us a lot, and we're going to just go for it.
We only have to pay him a rookie contract.
And we're rebuilding, and we blame it on Brady.
If
they don't bring in, to do it without him.
If they don't bring in anybody else, the job is Jarrett Stidham's.
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer is not the starting quarterback.
No.
The job is Jarrett Stidham's.
No.
So, and honestly, I think the favorite, I think Cam Newton, if he's going to be on a team, he will be on the Patriots. I don't think he'll take a backup job either. I think he'd sit out. I don't think he would join a team. So, I think he goes to the Patriots.
So, Joe, an ugly flashback for you.
Yeah.
So Stidham gets hurt. Brian Hoyer enters the game against the Chiefs.
Don't do it.
And in the fourth quarter, he comes back and wins the game.
Don't do it. That's a freaking nightmare.
We've seen it happen against the Chiefs. It's terrible. Who did he play for? Cleveland? I think it was Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland.
And we were pounding their asses. We were beating the shit out of them. Then Hoyer comes in the game and just kills us.
Hoyer had a run.
And John, correct me if I'm wrong. But he threw the winning touchdown pass to an ex-Chief.
Probably. I don't remember that.
Dwayne Bowe.
I was probably crying by then. And didn't even watch I just probably saw the ball go in the air.
I'd be crying too if I lost the Cleveland Browns, let alone Brian Hoyer and the Cleveland Browns.
I know, right? It's like,
those were in the good old days.
Those are in the good old days. Well, speaking of, I want to ask about Jameis, and I have a thought on Jameis. I think there is one spot that he could start.
Okay,
and
this is fun.
I think he could start in Washington.
Yeah,
with Ron Rivera. Rivera, he knows him, the same division.
Yep.
You know, he got the LASIK. His eyes are fixed.
He's serious.
He's a loads better than Haskins. Better than Haskins.
Yeah.
Haskins is a poor man's Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Yeah.
And better than Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Offense to Kyle Allen.
I'll tell you what, if that was
you're offending Kyle Allen as much as you can. You are.
I swear to God, Kyle Allen is under John's desk right now. I'm just positive. Yeah, he lives close to Washington, D.C., so it's certainly possible. And he lives close to Carolina, too, so I'm just saying, I think it's possible he's under his desk. But beyond that, I think this is what's going to happen. You're right. I think if Jameis Winston went to Washington, he's the starter.
Yes.
I think Kyle Allen then becomes your number two. And I think Dwayne Haskins walks off. Why keep him at that point? You know, because they're going to be bad enough even with Jameis Winston. They're going to draft a quarterback next year. I don't know. Do you cut
next year or this year?
Dwayne Haskins? No, not this year. I don't think they'll draft this year. I don't think they're taking a quarterback, John. I think they're taking Young. So
they got a lot of rounds to pick a quarterback.
Yeah, but you don't get they would want a franchise guy, and you only get another Kyle Allen if you wait to the third or fourth round.
Come on.
All right,
here's the deal.
What happened to Josh Rosen? Josh Rosen got traded after 1 year.
Right, what happened to him?
Same situation. Josh Rosen is better than Dwayne Haskins, and he's moving all around the league.
I don't know how you can even say that, because I don't think I watched Haskins play enough to make a decision.
He sucks.
Really? You didn't watch Haskins play?
No, because whenever Redskins came on, I just changed the channel.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what everybody did, and that's because he can't play.
Okay, I'm going to do some stats checking. You guys check.
All right, here we go.
Well, I can look.
You know what? Google has single-handedly affected my ability to bullshit.
No. I'm on NFL site. I'm not even Googling.
Whatever, NFL site.
I'm not even Googling. Haskins had a 76.1 QB rating, so he was worse than Kyle Allen, and you don't think Kyle Allen was going to start? He had a whopping 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, so he even had worse ratio than Kyle Allen.
Did I not tell you that the coronavirus could
I don't even think it needs to be... If you just look by stats alone, you say Kyle Allen deserves to start.
Well, listen,
ownership is a first-round pick.
And the coach I know.
Kyle.
So the ownership and the coach said Haskins is our guy. But we all know that actually
Kyle
Allen's a better quarterback.
Offense. Well, he knows the offense.
He knows the coach, and like you said, the offensive coordinator used to be his quarterback coach. So
that's correct. So I think that could propel him into the starting job, but he won't keep it for long.
But neither of those two guys, I think we're all agree, we don't think are gonna be the guy for the Redskins, and nor do I think the Redskins are gonna have anybody that's gonna be the guy, because even if they get a good quarterback, the team is shitty, and they'll think he's a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of hype going on right now in Washington, kind of like there was in Kansas City when we had Steve Bono. So we'll let that sink in. For any football fans who know who Steve Bono is,
Joe, Steve Bono or Steve DeBerg?
Oh, got to go with Steve DeBerg.
Right.
He played drunk and had the best play fake in football. I mean, Jesus Christ, that guy was an animal.
Sorry,
I mean, that's when real men took football. Yeah, I mean,
that was one of the last 40-somethings that was still starting, other than come on, why can't I think of him? Played for Minnesota, played for Houston Oilers, played for the Chiefs. Warren Moon, yeah. Another 40-something that played football and did a pretty good job.
Talk about slinging the ball. That guy could frickin' sling it. Ran the run and shoot. I bet you could ask football fans of today, and they'd be like, "The what? The running? The run?"
Yeah, that just to me,
it's kind of a different thing though, because Baltimore now with Jackson.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's kind of a form of that.
Okay, so we ended up with Houston being or Washington being a pile of shit, but could potentially get Jameis.
So,
by the way, I got to throw it out there, Evan. Some guy we know, Joe Florio, spoke to New England Sports Network or whatever, and said he actually thought that Jameis could be a fit in New England. Not necessarily that New England was going to go after him, but he could be a fit in New England.
Of course he could.
I mean, he could be a fit, but I don't see them going after him.
Right.
Why not?
I hear you.
Turnovers, 30 interceptions.
I hope Cam just can't play, and they have to pick up Jameis just so I can rub it in
it's Cam or bust. They're not picking up anybody but Cam Newton. Not picking up
Wow. Okay, that's some nuts.
It's all Cam. Right. The starter will be Cam Newton or Jarrett Stidham.
Okay. All right.
Guaranteed.
Okay. Jarrett Stidham, he knows the system. And he sat behind Tom Brady. So I'm sorry, so did Garoppolo. That guy could come out and be an all-star. We have no idea. We've never seen him play.
There's a lot of scouts who talked about Jarrett Stidham having top 5 talent.
Is that right?
And it didn't necessarily translate in terms of some of like the offense at Auburn wasn't very good, and sort of it wasn't necessarily a fit for Stidham. But a lot of people love his mechanics. They love his work. They think he has all the tools.
Yep.
So,
be interesting to see how that goes. Maybe that's why the Patriots.
You sold me. I'm so excited about anybody up. Stidham. I hope they don't get anybody because I want to watch him play.
Don't you want to just see him tear up the league and the Patriots go 13-3 and they pick up ring number 7?
I want to watch them lose yet again.
They just cut the only other guy with multiple rings is Gostowski too. So it's going to be a whole new team.
Yeah. Why do you cut him as a kicker? Didn't they learn anything from Vinatieri?
Because he busted his hip.
Oh, well, that'll ruin your week. Jesus Christ. Yeah, especially if you're a kicker. Wow, that ain't no good.
Exactly.
God damn it. You'll notice I'm getting a little looser because I've switched to Busch Light.
Oh, Busch Light.
I was on sale, 30-pack for $14. You can't beat it.
There's a reason.
So better or worse than Delirium Red? That's
but Busch Light's a solid 7. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's really inexpensive. And, John, we've been drinking this shit since high school.
Dude, that's not a 7. Do you know what, averages are? You know what 5 is? That's the average.
John, do you know
that is no better than an average beer, and it's a fine average beer.
Do you know what P is?
Yes.
Right. It's much better than
It's called
P.
Natty Light.
Well, okay, fair enough. You win.
I was gonna say there's Natty Light and then there's Busch Light. That's towards the.
I'd rather drink Busch Light.
On. They're both from the Busch family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drink Busch Light and I piss Natty Light.
Okay, well there you go.
Fair enough. All right. Do you guys have any other thoughts on it to put out there? Any predictions? What are your guys' predictions? I told you what I think.
I hope. I know Cam. Somebody's going to sign Cam. All right.
Who is
it? MVP, 4 years ago. You just don't let a guy like that sit. Who do I think's going to take him? I don't think it's the Chargers, and I don't think it's the Patriots.
Well, then who is it? You got to give me a team. Who's he sitting behind then?
Right, that's exactly it. I think he's going to go to a team, and I think he's going to be a backup.
Which team? Come on, give us an idea.
You got to give us a team.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. I'll tell you what. Let me.
What about Miami?
No.
I mean,
no, because Miami's going to take because Miami still has Rosen. They have Fitzpatrick, and they're going to draft a guy.
That's true.
There's no reason they need. Yeah, they do. Yeah, and you'd keep Fitzmagic.
I don't think if I were Cam Newton or even Jameis Winston, I would sign with Miami.
Right.
Said if I were either Cam or Jameis, I wouldn't sign with Miami.
I don't think
okay, so here's
I'd ask for so much money that if they did sign me, it wouldn't matter.
So what if I throw this out there? What if Cam goes to Houston?
To back up Deshaun Watson? No chance at playing time.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be there.
At the start of the season.
I think Bill O'Brien wants him gone.
By the start of the season.
If I were Deshaun, I'd want to leave, to be honest. You just gave away my best receiver.
He's absolutely made that clear. That's the whole point. He keeps putting pictures out on Twitter of Bill Belichick on the phone. He's trying to start shit. Now, I don't know if the Patriots are interested, but he wants out.
I don't think they can afford him.
No, and maybe not. But here's the deal. He'll go somewhere. I think Bill O'Brien wants a clean slate. I don't know that McNair, the owner, is going to give him a shot at that. But I think if he's gone, then I think.
But you have one of the best young quarterbacks in the whole league. And talent like that does not just grow on trees.
That's correct.
How many first-round quarterbacks come into the league with the talent of Deshaun Watson?
But if that's
he's arguably a top 5 quarterback at his age.
Yeah, but if that star quarterback doesn't believe in your philosophy or your system, you're done.
Then you get rid of the coach.
Right, I was just going to say, who actually makes the player decisions in Houston?
Listen, and that's either going to happen. Either O'Brien is gone or Deshaun Watson is gone. One of it's going to happen. Those guys will not work together. I think Deshaun
O'Brien's
Watson gone. And that's possible. And that's very possible. Now, if that happens, then all hell's going to break loose, and I don't really know.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
we like that. We like chaos.
What, here's the thing. What about Denver? Back up Drew Lock.
Is Drew Lock the guaranteed starter? Would he start over Cam Newton?
He is now, but if you brought Cam Newton into Mile High, he very well may not be.
That could be a fit.
It absolutely could be a fit.
Elway is definitely somebody who might give Cam a chance.
Exactly.
And has kind of proven that, hey, we take a risk on somebody who's had an injury he's not as old as Peyton was, but you're getting older.
Right. And he's never had any success with young quarterbacks.
Guys, what I don't understand is why Gruden jumped the gun on Mariota. Why sign him so fast? What does he see in Marcus Mariota?
He's not that bad of a quarterback either.
No, I understand that. I understand that, John. Yeah. But is he better than Cam? Is he better than Jameis?
He got Mariota at a great price. Really good price.
He got decent value, but he signed him really, really fast. So maybe he knew another team was interested or something was going on. But, I mean, as soon as free agency started, that guy was off the market. Gruden was on him like a fat kid on a rib roast.
He probably just likes
I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, he probably saw something he really liked.
So,
there's a lot of I do think Mariota is talented. Yeah. I don't think he necessarily was used in the proper way in Tennessee. I don't think Mariota is necessarily going to be a superstar, but in the right system, you can use his talents. You can
of course.
I'd argue he's just as good as Tannehill. Only Tannehill was in a more functioning offense for
what they did,
what they were doing.
Yeah.
I think there's some talent. There's a reason he was a second overall pick.
Right. I think
is Mariota
experience helped him. No.
Is Mariota better than Carr? No.
Okay.
I think Derek Carr is better than people give him credit for.
I do too.
So, I don't know what Gruden is expecting if he gets rid of Derek Carr.
So we didn't talk about this, but I'm going to throw in another curveball real quick. So I saw the name and it just reminded me. Andy Dalton.
Oh, here we go.
So if he gets released, which he probably will.
Well, I don't know.
How does he shake up?
The Bengals are talking about keeping him.
Right.
At this point, I think they might keep him.
Yeah.
Then they might, but they also might let him go if he gets released. And now you got Andy and Cam and Jameis. Does that shake up anything you've done?
The Patriots have made it clear they have no interest, zero interest in Andy Dalton. None. Okay. So the Patriots are out. They do not want Andy Dalton. He's done.
Good.
Right.
So it really doesn't shake it up because we don't even know where Jameis is going. So Joe, you already said you're saying that Cam is going. Where did you say he was going? You said so many teams.
Yeah, you mentioned, you speculated. You need to give us a pick.
I think he could go to Denver.
That's your pick?
Okay.
Denver?
Well, why not?
Okay.
I mean, I like that you went, you went different. I like that.
I like it. All right.
I'm going to support, unfortunately, that he's going to the Patriots because it just seems
Christ,
everybody's talking about him going there. I can't help it.
Why don't you just pick the obvious guy?
I can't help it because it's too obvious.
It's too obvious.
How do you fight like
Jesus? Take a risk, man.
Well, I am. I'm going to talk about Jameis because I'm gonna. This shouldn't be a surprise. Jameis is going to go to the Los Angeles Chargers. I got the name right. That's where Jameis going. That's my crazy pick that you guys both said not happening.
Okay, then let me ask
I think Cam's easy.
Is he better than Tyrod Taylor?
Does Jameis start over Tyrod? That's exactly what I was going to ask, Ev.
I think they'll figure it out in preseason, to be honest.
Oh, here we go.
No,
that's
I really
a bullshit answer.
If I had a choice,
I'd
play Jameis. I'd play Jameis.
Okay, you'd start him over Tyrod.
Yep.
You can't bring Jameis Winston.
Here we go.
Tyrod Taylor.
Here we go.
And Justin Herbert or Tua, and you can't. No, you can this year.
Just this year. Sure, you can.
So
you can't. You're gonna bring Tua.
No. If you picked up Jameis, you wouldn't necessarily go after a quarterback. You guys have already said you're not going to go after. A quarterback.
But I don't think you pass up a Justin Herbert or a Tua for Jameis Winston.
No, I don't think you do that. So if you bring Jameis in, let's say he's number one guy, right?
So you got Tyrod, you got Jameis, and you got whoever you draft, and you get rid of the other guy.
And the guy
you got three
goes
quarterbacks.
To the practice squad,
nothing wrong with that.
Or you release him. So yes, that could possibly happen. Jameis, yes, is better than Tyrod.
Yes.
He just is better. I mean, he's got more.
That's why I'd pick him up. I think you got to either way you went, you got a decent starter and you got a decent, not great, not even really very good, but you got a decent starter and decent backup, so you could just kind of figure out which one's the right guy. And then you don't have to throw in. What I like about it is you don't have to draft a guy and throw him in this year because neither one of those fuckers are good enough. You just keep playing with those two guys,
right, John,
and let that backup learn.
But let me throw
the new guy, the drafted. Going to be a good quarterback. We sure hope, like Phillip Rivers was at one point in his career, guy get a little bit of time on the bench.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me throw this at you and make Kyle Allen shake under your desk. What if Jameis Winston, right? You got him, you got Tyrod. Let's say they bring this Herbert kid in from Oregon. They all go to camp. Herbert wins the starting nod. Sure. Then what happens?
He's not going to, but sure. Okay.
What if he's?
Well, you say he's not going to, but you have no idea that that's the case.
No, you're right. But in my just gut instinct is you don't do that to him right out of the gate. Both those guys. Here's the thing: both Jameis and Tyrod have several years of actual starting quarterback experience.
Yes.
And that is just going to win out in the beginning of the season, no matter what happens. As long as they don't totally shit away the year, they're going to keep their job, or the other guy's going to get a chance before Herbert or Hebert or whoever you want to. Right. I had to say Hebert because he was a Saints quarterback.
Bobby Hebert, yeah.
Whoever it is, right?
Too.
Yeah. You just, and I say that because I would really like to see people be smart about using their quarterbacks, not throwing them out. Because, Daniel Jones just played so amazing last year after they got rid of Eli. I mean, it's because the fans demanded it. He didn't do anything special. They were happy when Eli came back and almost won a game.
John, listen to me right now. You are let's. I'm just going to call it like it is. Okay, you and I are the same. We're fat and slow, but we could hand off to Saquon Barkley, and be a quarterback for the Giants. Okay, when you have a guy like that, you listen. Those guys have to play in the box. because Saquon is so dangerous, run and pass. Daniel Jones walked into a situation that's like, are you shitting me? I've got the best running back in the NFL behind me.
That I don't know how to use because I don't know how to audible to him.
Well,
and not only that, but I'm not very good at checking down to him.
Why don't he doesn't have any receivers?
No offensive weapons besides Saquon.
That's it. But you get him a couple receivers, you better watch the hell out.
I like Daniel Jones.
This
I think
kid?
Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I don't like seeing them do that to a guy his first year. I think that's a mistake.
If they're good
very
enough.
rare that a quarterback name a guy, please name a guy that started a year as a rookie and actually is just like still kicking ass to this day.
To this day?
To this day.
I was going to say Dan Marino, but.
Well, hold on. So, Deshaun Watson.
He started.
Deshaun Watson.
He started. He got drafted and he started.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So he did good. Yeah,
there he is. So, well, I guess my point is, John, you're right. It doesn't happen often.
And then he got hurt and then played for a while and got to like learn the game and then he came back. But yes, you're right. So one guy. And you could argue Lamar Jackson, he didn't start right out of camp, but he started pretty quickly and he's done well. But it is pretty rare because what happens to those guys is if they don't pick it up quickly, they start getting beat around and they lose their confidence.
Yes.
Because they're under the gun and they're not learning the game properly. They're just getting thrown to the wolves, and the wolves are eating them fucking alive. And
John, here's another guy. Russell Wilson went in, never looked back. Started rookie year, took him to the Super Bowl, won. It's taken him twice to the Super Bowl, only won once, but
he didn't do it in his first year.
He started his first
rookie year. But you made it sound like he took him to the Super Bowl.
No, but
the way you said it, I'm just like he didn't.
No, but it was his third year. John, the guy. What I'm saying is it does happen.
No,
so for you to say,
I'm glad you named a couple guys.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
I'm glad you named a couple guys. How many guys haven't worked out? Everybody for Cleveland.
There are.
Hey, Baker Mayfield long term, I don't think is that bad.
No.
Yeah, but he didn't start. He didn't start right away, did he?
He did.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
my
but
he's so bad.
I don't know.
Franchise quarterback.
No,
come on.
So
was Tim Couch.
He sure shit his second year away.
So was Tim Couch, big dog. You know who Tim Couch is?
Yes, I know who Tim Couch is.
Yeah, he's painting houses right now. Yeah, he's working on my sprinkler system right now. Yeah, that's Tim Couch. Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you, the Bengals and the Browns have the worst drafting. It's like if you get drafted onto their team, you just automatically.
Does that mean Joe Burrow is done?
I think he's doomed. Yeah, because he doesn't have anything to work with. It's like, okay, yeah, you get drafted number one, but you're on the shittiest fucking team possible. And it's like, okay, well, great. Good luck with that. I don't care how good you are. You have no weapons. And if you have no weapons, it doesn't matter, man. Tom Brady, without the weapons he had over the years, would not be who he is. You have to admit it. It is true. He's had a lot of weapons.
But he also makes bums like Philip Dorsett look decent.
I'll give you that to a certain degree.
So do Brady's.
He gets Philip Dorsett paid before Cam Newton.
Yeah, I will. Yes, I will definitely agree with that. Yes. For sure. For sure. Yeah, it's hard. Listen, it's hard for me to agree. It's hard for me to agree. But listen, like I said, we'll kick Brady in the nuts later. I mean, it's coming. I mean, we have plenty of shows.
We always have to bring up Tom Brady at least once, don't we?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got to listen. It's Tom Brady. You know, I loved watching him go to the Bucs. I have to throw that in here. I loved watching that because now he's out of the fucking AFC. And as a Chiefs fan, that's great. We've been playing this guy for 20 years.
And he almost always got you.
Almost always. I went to
always.
No, I went to a Chiefs game at Arrowhead and with your dad, and Adam Vinatieri missed the game-winning field goal. It clanked off the left upright, and your dad about got us killed out in the parking lot because these guys set fire a Mr. Pat jersey. And holy shit, old Pops took offense to that shit. And I'm like, Bill, it's 80,000 to 1. We need to run like hell.
Right.
Okay? We need to get out of here.
Trouble, pal.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, don't do that. But I got it, I mean, he's just defending his team, That's what true football fans do. But it's like
Fair
not
enough.
80,000 to 1. I mean, we need to run.
You could have taken him on. I know what those jeans look like. Could have taken him on.
Yeah. I don't care how many pairs of jeans he has on. He's getting his ass kicked by 80,000 fans. I'm just telling you right now. No, it was cool. It's cool, man. Anytime you get a chance to go watch a game, it's awesome. And anybody who listens to our show, they're football fans. They know it. It's just
Absolutely.
what we love, man. We love talking football. We love drinking some beer.
Absolutely.
It's just a great time.
I agree. Well,
great time.
Do we have anything else we wanted to discuss? Wrap up? Is that going to conclude?
Is that it?
Is that it? Out. I think we talked about that. And
we got our topics, so that'll wrap up Pigskin Pricks.
Hey,
on this episode.
Till next time.
All right.
Reach out.
Next time.
Peace.